Hey, what's up? It's Jesko again from AcousticsInsider.com, where I teach home studio acoustic treatment techniques for audio professionals, but without all the voodoo. Today I want to give you a quick tour of my studio because a lot of you guys have been asking what does your studio actually look like and where do I work from. So I just want to show you what's going on in this room of mine, and for the purpose of realness I didn't clean up anything. Actually, it's because I'm lazy. And so you're going to see exactly what's kind of going on outside of the usual frame that you get when you watch my videos. So let's jump right in. So as you enter my studio, this is kind of the view that you get. And I've pulled down the curtains, I put up the lights, because otherwise you wouldn't see anything in here at all. And this is basically the setup that I use when I film my videos. And so let me just kind of give you a quick tour around. Obviously this is my work mixing desk, an Argosy desk that has served me very well over the years. I've got my Hedd Type 20 MKII speakers that I recently got only about a month or two ago. And then just kind of giving you a quick view around. So I've got my bass traps, my acoustic treatment, a small ceiling cloud above my head. And then as I move towards the front of the room and turn around, you can see this is kind of what the back of the room looks like. I've got my big lazy chair there that I inherited at some point, which I love to chill in every once in a while. I've got my corner traps here, obviously some sort of poly diffuser experiment on the back wall, on the door in this case. And this is my couch that I sit and love to nap on. Obviously my platinum record that I got for mixing Offenbach's, what's it called, Be Mine, which is fantastic cover art there. And then obviously, let me see if I can get that so you can actually see it. So it went platinum in France, which is why this is in French. Pour plus de 20 millions ventes cumulé en France, certifié SLMK avril 2017. So 2017 that was. And then just a bunch of some of my favorite records up here. I don't actually have a record player at the moment, but they're more for decoration at the moment. An original Venetian carnival mask, I guess it is, which funnily enough are produced in Albania. But there you go. So this is what my room looks like, and with the treatment, it's got some random stuff just standing around. So let me just show you this side. This is the side that you never get to see, the junk side. So I've got a big bookcase with just random stuff, obviously lots of cables in these boxes, all my acoustics books that I've worked through to varying degrees, some mixing books, a random book by Clive Cussler that's just hanging out there. And then I've got this prototype bass trap standing here, which is a resonance trap that I've been or an idea that I've been working on for a while now. It's been sitting there for some time now because I just don't find the time to do anything about it or to continue working on it. But basically the idea is to design a resonance style trap that actually would fit perfectly in line with the standard kind of corner panels that you see in my videos in my room and lots of the rooms of my clients that I've worked with. And so this particular style of trap, the idea is to build something that actually takes care of everything below what these porous absorber traps absorb, right? So these roughly work down to about 40 hertz. And so below that, absorption generally drops off. And so the idea is to build something that would fit in line and would take care of that lowest part of the spectrum, so around 20 to 40, 50 hertz maybe. And so that's what this idea is for. I've been experimenting with Helmholtz-style traps, with membrane traps. But yeah, this is an experiment that's on the slow burner right now, on the back burner, I think is how you say it, just because I don't find the time to work on it. And by the way, if you have ever successfully designed a resonance absorber, be it a Helmholtz-style bass trap, a Helmholtz absorber, or a membrane trap, and you want to help me figure out how to make this design work, then let me know in an email. Send an email to jesko@acousticsinsider.com, and maybe we can see if we can work together on that. So that's obviously this guy, but then having a closer look at these bass trap panels. So these are my bass traps with the diffuser front on them. So this is a simple mathematical sequence that reflects sound in a way in the upper frequencies, roughly 3 to 7 kilohertz, and diffuses those that part of the spectrum, that reflected energy. And so that gives the room a much livelier feel, while the rest of the spectrum is actually absorbed by the insulation material behind these diffuser slats, right? So I use this design in all my studio builds because it is, in my opinion, the kind of best bang for the buck design for small rooms, because you get that benefit of absorption down to roughly 40 hertz when you put it across a corner or with an air gap, and but you can to some extent control just how much high frequencies are actually absorbed through this diffuser design, and how many of these diffuser fronts you actually put in the room. So if you want to figure out how to build that, by the way, I've got an online course called Build a Better Bass Trap that I'm launching again next week, most likely. So if you're interested in figuring out how to design your own version of this type of absorber diffuser bass trap, then make sure you sign up to my email list. And obviously the easiest way to do that is to just follow the link in the description. And you'll also get my complete guide to bass traps and bass trapping, which is basically kind of almost an encyclopedia to all the different types of bass traps out there, bass absorber devices, if you will, that I've just accumulated, that I've collected in this guide. So showing you not just what they look like, but also how they work and how you're meant to use them. So that kind of gives you an overview of the different, all the different available styles of bass trap out there. And yeah, if you sign up to my email list at the link below, you'll get that as well. And then you'll also be informed of when I'm launching my course, Build a Better Bass Trap, next week. But so then talking about my speakers, as I mentioned, I just recently got these Hedd Type 20 MK2s, which have served me very well since. They're a really interesting design, a three-way design, obviously, but they can be run both ported and as a closed cabinet design, because they actually come with these plugs that you can fit inside the resonance port. So that gives you the option of whether you want a ported design or an unported speaker cabinet design, to just decide to just choose whichever one you want within the same product, which is genius. And I run them in the ported design. As you can see, the port isn't closed at the moment, but I actually started filming a video on that, on setting them up when I first got them. But I quickly spiraled out of control in terms of video length, because I just kind of went on a spree experimenting through tons and tons of different kind of setup options, both in the closed and the ported version. But they have several different options as well on the back that you can choose through these knobs, which is quite great. I'm not sure if I can show that to you, but so that kind of ended up just running out of control, and so I decided not to continue filming that. But if you're kind of curious about this speaker, if there's anything in particular you want me to talk about in a future video, don't hesitate to let me know, and I'll see if I can put that together. Apart from that, what else? So I've got kind of several very basic pieces of kit that I work with. I have a very minimalist approach to mixing, if you will. I have my old Novation SL0 MK2, whatever it's called, 0 SLMK2. So this is a simple MIDI controller, automap MIDI controller that I still use every once in a while. So it's set up, and it still kind of works with most plugins. I'm working with Cubase Pro 11 these days, which I also just got. And as part of that, I also got myself this lovely Softube Console 1 fader thingy, which is also really great. So one of the things that I really love about this is that it really gives me the most essential things, the most essential tools that I use most while I mix right at my fingertips. And so that would be obviously volume, but also low cut and high cut, which is amazing. So you just push this, and it's not set up at the moment. This Cubase isn't open, that's why it doesn't do anything. But basically you just push and hold either low cut or high cut, and then the faders turn into the control for that particular channel. And that gives you a really quick way to do both volume, high cut, low cut. On top of that, there's a drive functionality. So you can switch it into this drive mode, which basically simulates some sort of desk distortion, I guess. And then a character knob, which is also really interesting. So that kind of switches, or that gives you control over whether the distortion is kind of aimed or weighted towards high frequencies or low frequencies. And so that's really, really convenient. I really love this. Also access to the first 3 sends in Cubase. That works really, really well. I really love working with that. My interface is an rather old at this point RME UFX, but it still works perfectly well. Hasn't given me a problem ever. Together with this RME ARC USB USB controller, I guess, which just basically eliminates any need for any type of monitor controller. So I've got it set up in different kind of with different kind of snapshots. I'm not sure if you can see that. So there's kind of my main setting, and I've got one for a mono speaker, which is actually broken and on the side here right now. So I got to fix that at some point. For headphones, I can switch it to setups for recording my YouTube videos. I can mute several the speakers individually. I can set it to mono if I want. And I've got a dim knob, mute knob, and then a sub mute knob. So maybe this is as good a moment as any to have a look at my sub. So I have a sub 12, an old Adams sub 12 that's just kind of sitting here on the side of my desk. If you're wondering why exactly there, well, it's because that's the spot where it gives me the smoothest frequency response. And with the distance of the sub to the listening position, I get a very smooth integration with the tops, with the MK2s here, with the Tab 20s, which is set up to cut to low cut at around 80 hertz, just the standard low cut that's intended from this in the speaker together with the sub. And so those work really, really well together. I really love how that sounds in combination. By the way, if you're wondering if it's suboptimal to have the sub on the side, it definitely is. Yeah, so I can definitely tell that the sub frequencies are coming from the right, but it's not that bad. So unless you're going to go with a dual sub setup, which is even more trickier to integrate, then you're kind of left in this conundrum where you either set the sub up in the middle of your room and you get a proper centered sub energy centered in front of you, but then you might not get a good frequency response depending on how your room is treated, right? So there's a compromise there to be had by moving it to the side. Yeah, you kind of get this image shift in the lowest frequencies, but then you get a better frequency response. So it's a kind of pick your poison situation if you're working in a room that isn't perfectly treated down to the lowest frequencies. As you know in my videos, I always say that you can get kind of controlled down to roughly 40 hertz with these panels. So yeah, my room isn't perfectly controlled down to 20 hertz, but it's good enough. And I've definitely had plenty of fun working in this room. Yeah, I've got some absorption behind the speakers, obviously, right in front of the window. What else? Got my plants here. So this is some sort of yucca palm tree, I guess is what it's called in English as well. So that replaced my Ficus robusta. So there's a little kind of cut from that plant, kind of living down there, just growing down there, which is doing all right, but the original plant died and I had to get rid of it. Then there's a, I'm not sure what you call this kind of plant in English, which with these very kind of long strands that grows literally all around my room. And it used to be green. It used to have leaves all around. And then at some point it did not, especially this side is definitely not looking particularly great. And I really need to cut that guy back and start over again. But so it's definitely kind of fun to have a lot of green in your space. And it's a nice plant there. Got also this other guy up here. He's also doing all right. Doesn't look all that great because it's kind of lost its leaves on this side, but if you look at it on the other side, it's actually doing perfectly fine. Again, it's just kind of needs some trimming. Yeah, that's pretty much it, I guess. I've got 2 pictures here that my brother gave me for a birthday at some point. So this is Miles Davis at the piano, and then we've got Sly Stone here with the keyboard in his sunglasses. Cool pictures, I like them a lot. Yeah, what else? Got a bunch of measurement stuff. So that's kind of my measurement case where I keep all my tools that I need when I go out to a client to measure. Lots of other junk. My old P11As still there, waiting to find another use. And that's about it, I guess. So I hope you enjoyed this little tour of my studio. So this is kind of what it looks like, and what you don't get to see usually behind the camera. Oh, maybe just a quick mention what I'm using as headphones, because people always love to talk about headphones. So these are Shure SRH 1440s. The sound is amazing. I really like them. They've served me very, very well. The build quality is so-so, but I had a piece break up here in the head strap at some point, which meant that this ear cup was really loose. But I wrote an email to them, and they literally sent me a replacement part for free, which was amazing. Would I still get that headphone today? Maybe. I'm not entirely sure. As again, I think the sound is amazing. The soundstage is really, really good. So it's really focused. It's really tight. I really like them for that. They're quite bass light. So I actually have them set up with my RME sound card, so that when I switch between the different kind of speaker systems or the different referencing systems, they're all volume matched and also kind of tonally matched. So that means I actually have a little bass boost set up in the RME for my headphones, so that they sound roughly in line with what the speakers are giving me. And yeah, so that's pretty much it for the tour of my studio. It's a lovely space that I really enjoy hanging out in. I love to have friends over and just hang out, and also just work. It's a great workspace, a great productive space for productivity and staying focused. And just again, to wrap this up, I'm going to be launching my online course, Build a Better Bass Trap, next week, probably, hopefully. So if you want to learn how to design your own version of this bass trap, including also my 6 absorber placement hacks, which is in a second part of the course called Absorber Placement Hacks for Odd Rooms. If you want to get in on that and be informed when I open that up again next week, then make sure you sign up to my email list at the link in the description, and you'll also get my guide to my complete guide to bass traps and bass trapping. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this tour of my studio, and I'll see you very, very soon.